everybody wants to go up. Right? I mean, ever since the beginning of recorded history, the human story has been the story of up, of progress. But what exactly is up? My TV tells me that that's up, or that. But is that the best we can do? Are material acquisitions the best way we have to measure success? I want to introduce you to people who've challenged my own sense of what up means. These are people who are changing the traditional definitions of progress. What I want to know is why and how they've done it, and more particularly, what their actions and motivations have in common with the actions and motivations of other people who are doing very similar things that they are around the country. These are stories, so enjoy them. But also, these are real lives, so let them affect you. Hear their stories, wrestle with them, disagree with them, agree with them. Try to see where these stories fit inside your own sense of what up means or how it's defined. But first, to be fair, if I'm going to ask them to bear their hearts on their sleeves and to tell their stories, I thought maybe I should do mine first. Tell my story, answer my own interview questions. So we'll begin there, because I guess from there, the only place we have to go is up. I was about as middle class as they came in the 80s. I loved watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. For fun, I danced to songs from McDonald's commercials, and my brother and I made sure we asked for a Nintendo every Christmas until we got one. Through every stage of life, I managed to give it my all, making the absolute most of the countless advantages and opportunities graciously afforded me by my parents and grandparents. Thus, by high school, I was taking honors and AP courses, leading music with my band at church, and I was co-captain of the track team. In other words, I was on my way to my own little version of the top. And even though my town was surrounded by agriculture, it all just looked like corn to me. I guess because it was. You see, agriculture equaled corn for Middle America, and this had no particular appeal to me. So as high school graduation approached, it was between college or corn, and I made my way to the university. And 4 years later, I was on my way out of the university, brandishing an absolutely exquisite and important piece of paper with my name on it, and enough internships and leadership experiences to assure that I had met the appropriate pre-flight checks and was cleared for takeoff into the sunrise of comfortable and blissful middle to upper class affluence. I packed my car and headed into the workforce. That was, until I realized about 2 years in, that I didn't know how to do anything. And what's worse, I realized that it was precisely my don't know how to do anything lifestyle that was causing a lot of problems for other people, both in my backyard and around the globe. I saw it too. For example, I didn't know how to put ingredients together to make food, so I paid somebody else to do it. And I didn't know how to produce the meat I was eating twice a day, 7 days a week, so I paid somebody else to do it. Also, I didn't know what all that black muddy stuff was under my lawn, also known as dirt. So I paid somebody else to put seeds in their own dirt and grow food out of it for me. But I didn't know where those people were, or even if they were getting paid enough to do it, or if they were getting sick from doing it either. And I hardly knew how to make anything with my hands. So again, I paid somebody else to do it. But I didn't want to pay too much. Thus came stores that brought me products made so inexpensively that if what I bought did break, I could just toss it in the trash and buy a new one. And finally, I also didn't know what to do with all that trash I was creating from this lifestyle. So I paid somebody else to deal with it. I got it shipped as far away from me as possible. But slowly, what I realized was that I couldn't pretend any longer. I couldn't pretend that I wanted to love my neighbor as myself, if at the same time I was making my neighbor, here or around the globe, do all of the dirty jobs that I didn't want to do myself. I had some learning to do. This quest took my wife and I to Harrisonburg, Virginia, where I started studying conflict, justice, and peace issues at Eastern Mennonite University. And while studying the deep roots of injustice in a society did great things for my brain and for my development, it was the people I started running into between classes that really got my attention. And this is where my story runs up alongside the stories of my friends. These are people among what is turning out to be a growing movement across the nation of people who are taking a different approach to the American dream. Thus began my investigation to find out the hows and the whys of the people who have chosen lives that look a bit strange given the opportunities they once had available to them. And I'd like you to meet them too. I'd like you to see if your story runs anywhere near theirs. And if it doesn't, to ask yourself, why?